Hi, this is Leigh Ambergy, stampwithleigh.com. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Mentor, Ohio, and thank you for joining me on today's video. Today's video is something a little bit different. It's kind of a technique card, and usually I don't show those or make videos for those, but I am on this one because it's featuring the flip-flaps, and those are on page 74 in the annual catalog. These used to be listed on the online scrapbooking brochure, but they're here. They're various sizes. So the purpose of the flip flaps is for scrapbooking. Remember the photo albums where you would flip, and have photos on both sides? You can use these that same exact way. You can use them on inside a card for a stamped message or stamped greeting, designer series paper, and you can also use those to make an easy shaker card. So that's what I'm going to be showing you today, and I am featuring with the flip flaps the celebratory sips bundle, and this is an online exclusive, so you will find that in the online store. And if you are watching this video from my YouTube channel, there is a link in the description box below that will take you to my blog post that will show you all the information, all the products that was used for this class. So shaker cards are, they're not difficult. There's a process. So it's like layers. You're like building this from layers, and you just kind of got to think things through. So again, this is using the Cheers and Sips bundle, and this is the stamp set. These are the dies, and I've also used the stylish shapes for my circles, and I also used a 2 3/4 circle punch. So with the flip flaps, the only thing you have to remember is that wherever you put these, you always have to have something that's covering up this part. So let's just take it step by step and just show you some interesting things from this. So I am starting with basic white card base, 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm just folding that in half. I'm going to burnish the score line. This is going to be the background part where we're going to see our shaker elements. So I have that there. The next thing is I needed a circle. I needed something that's going to showcase my shaker elements, and just blindly die cutting this is, you need to make sure that you don't move your circle over too far so that your little pouch sticks out. So I just took a piece of crappy cardstock. What I call crappy cardstock is not my Stampin' Up! Basic white. This is just an off-brand white cardstock that I get, and this is what I use for samples, or if I need templates, or if I'm trying a fold. I don't want to waste my good stuff, so I always have a stash of what I call crappy paper. So I made like a template. So all I did was took my circle die. This is the same size as my cardstock, 4 by 5 1/4. So this way I know where to place this. So doing my template, I've already die cut it. This just sort of like fits in there. So I do have my Stampin' Cut and Emboss off to the side. So I'm going to die cut this. So got that off to the side. Let me run this through. And this just now shifted on me. So let me get this back in place. There we go. I'm going to run that through. Oh, I'm missing a plate. So let me grab that. I normally do not keep my, I normally don't use my full-size Stampin' Cut on my work area. When I'm working, I get up. It's off to a table on the side. And I usually just have my mini over here, but I need the big guns for this card. All right, so there's my circle. I can keep this and use it later or whatever. That's scrap. Next, I'm going to run this through the embossing. And I've realized I don't have that plate either. So let me grab that. Okay, so this is the Glass and Gardens embossing folder. So I'm going to put this in here. And I guess it would be pretty good if I put my cheaters on so I can see what I'm doing. All right, I think that's pretty much lined up even. So let me get my platform for that and run that through my embossing folder. All right, so I've got that embossed, and it just embosses part of it. Doesn't do the whole thing, which is different and interesting. All right, so next I am going to stamp my greeting, because if you are putting a greeting on here, you want to do that before you start building and attaching your shaker element, because it makes it's poofy. It's a little bit poofy, and you might not get a good stamped image. So I've got the cheer stamp, and I've just now stamped my finger in the ink. So let me get a rag to wipe that off. All right, so I've got cheers, and I'm using Secret C. And I've got my piercing mat. Hopefully I've got that straight. I'm surprised, but you know, miracles do happen. So while I've got my ink open, I have, this is the 2025, 2027 in color 6x6 DSP, and this is Darling Duckling. So let me stamp this stamp. And I'm changing this card up just a little bit. You know, when I do a video, I like doing that. I sometimes change things up. No, I think I'm gonna do it this way. We'll see. We might end up using these elements. We might not. We gotta see what happens. I've got a piece of old olive. And I've got a scrap piece of Darling Duckling. My card base again is basic white, and this this layer is cloud cover. So these are all the new in colors. And if you're wondering, how did I know what colors to use? This is what I want, our color coach. You can download this, and these are the colors. I didn't have pumpkin pie. Well, I did have pumpkin pie ink, but I didn't really have any paper. So I substituted that for the Timid Tiger. They're in the same color group, so I think it's going to work. All right, so I have all of these. Let me go ahead and die cut all of these bad babies out. So normally I try to get as much of this done ahead of time, but for some reason I just wanted you to see the whole process on what I was doing. Okay, so I don't want any of that to move. So I have some paper tape that I'm just going to use. Stampin' Up! Does not sell this. I got it online, but you can use Post-it, a Post-it note. I think there's Post-it tape. They have Post-it tape. All of these elements and pieces would fit through my mini Stampin' Cut, but since I had to pull this out for the embossing folder, I figured I would just keep it out and use it for this, and all of these will fit on here, and I can die cut them all at the same time. Then I'm going to show you how to build the shaker element. And I do apologize if my head is getting in the frame for this. Sometimes you have to look right on top of something to get everything lined up. So let me put this back through the machine. I'm missing a plate. You take me out of my natural element, and I'm like, what am I doing? All right, we've got that in there. There we go. Now I'm gonna run it through. And I see my one piece did not. My leaf did not really hold on to the paper. So let's run this one through. Let's run it through again. My die slipped off and didn't do anything. Do a better job of taping that this time. There we go. We've got that. So I've got that element. My die's over here so I don't lose them, because I have a tendency to do that. I keep the scrap. I keep the scrap paper and throw my die away instead of the scrap paper. Okay, so I've got all of those. I should get all of this out of the way. I did do one thing off camera, and that I made my little frame. So what I did is I took a piece of Secret C, and I punched this out with the 2 3/4 circle punch. Then I took my same die that I cut out this circle and I made a frame. So that's how I ended up with this. So let me show you. I can just, you know what, I can put this on right now. And the easiest way to do that is you can use liquid glue. Just make sure that you don't put your pouch, your shaker element pouch, on until this has completely dried. And I'm just sort of squeezing this to get it to cover, kind of get it to conform, to fit how you want. And a little trick is, if you can't, snip off a small edge and then walk it around. Okay, so we have that. And like I said, shaker cards, especially with these pouches, are very easy to do. So this, what I happen to have for this is the 3x4. And these will come in a pack of 12. You will get 6 that are portrait and 6 that are landscape. And this tab for the landscape ones will be at the top. So this is kind of more than I really need. Okay, this will be folded over. So that's more than I need. So my shaker elements are, a lot will end up down here. And I didn't want that. I had smaller ones. We used them all for a class. So what I wanted to show you is you can trim these. Just put it in your paper trimmer and trim it. Make sure you measure that you're not cutting this too short, but you can trim these. To eliminate bulk, I mean, you would be able to just fold this over, but I'm going to trim this. I've scored it just at, I don't know, maybe it's about what, a quarter of an inch. But you just want to, I'm just going to trim this flap off. And it's on the back side. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be neat. I'm just giving myself like a flap, like an envelope. I just want like an envelope flap. Also, when doing shaker cards, tear and tape is always your best friend. So I've got some tear and tape, and we're going to, and it's hard to see on this, so let me grab a piece of black cardstock scrap, so maybe hopefully you can see. Okay, here's my flap that I've made, and I want my tear and tape to be here at the bottom. So when I fold that flap over, that is what is going to keep all of my shaker elements inside this little pouch. So where are they? So these I have are the loose gold sequins. They're in the annual catalog. And when you use these, it's the same thing with a regular shaker card when you use window sheets. You don't want to overfill this because then the shaker, the little elements, won't be able to move around. It'd just be too many. There won't be any space for them. Okay, I think I'm going to do like just a little bit more. Let me see. Okay, I like that. That's good. So now I'm going to peel the release off of here. And if this doesn't want to come up, just burnish it with your fingernail or bone folder, because sometimes the release paper doesn't want to come off. Okay, I'm going to fold my flap over. There's my shaker elements. Right there. All right, let's get busy. Again, tear and tape is your best friend. So what you need to do is we are going to attach this where the opening is. So you just want pieces of tear and tape around your opening. So it doesn't have to be, some people do it precise, like the circle all the way around. I just do enough so that I know it's going to attach and hold on to that pouch. Tear and tape is very strong, so once you adhere this down and we get this panel onto our card base, it's really not going to go anywhere. As you can see, my finger is sticking to the tear and tape. All right, there we go. So now I've got my pouch, and since I have this edge here, and you can see the tape, logically, I'm going to put this on the part of my panel where there's more cardstock. I could put it here, but, you know, nervous Nelly me, I don't want any of this, to show. I want to give myself more room than what I really need for that pouch. So that is holding my shaker element. So again, tear and tape is your best friend for this. So we are going to put tear and tape around the outside, or around the edges, I should say, of our card panel. You want to make sure that you don't put any on the back of your little pouch where it will see through, because you will see the adhesive. So that sort of defeats the purpose of your little envelope. And if you get your tear and tape with that one little tiny edge down there, might be just a little too much. If you haven't used tear and tape and you're not familiar with it, if you go over, I'll show you a little trick on what to do with that. I'm going to put this in here because I think this might overlap. Well, I think we'll be okay. All right, so now we're going to remove all of this. And again, I usually pre-do as much as I can, but I really wanted to show you all of the steps involved with this. Come on. All right. So if you have, it's very tiny, but if any of your tear and tape overhangs, just fold it back on itself. And that way you don't have any adhesive that's sticking out anywhere. Okay, this is not wanting to release, so we're just going to burnish it a little bit more. There we go. And peel that off. And I think I'm just going to add another little piece right here, just in case. Get a little burnish. I know people, I'm so jealous, that can pick this off with their fingers, and you know what, I can't do it. All right, tear and tape is very strong. Once you put this down, that's kind of like it. That's where it's going to stay. My suggestion is kind of get fingers underneath one end until you can see like, yeah, I think that looks like I'm pretty much centered. And then put it down. And there's your shaker element. Right, now we're going to add this. This is what I wanted to do. My original card just had the one small glass, and I'm thinking maybe I want to add another one. So that's why I did the other taller glass. I think that's what I wanted. I think I might do that. Might add another one. Okay, so I am going to just get a little bit of my liquid adhesive. I want to put my little lemon that I die cut. I want that to go on here. And I want my little mint sprig to go on this one. So I'm going to put a little bit. You could use a glue dot. I'm going to put a little bit right there for this one. Okay. I've got this one here. This one here. Okay, I like that. I'll just put a little bit of liquid glue right there to make sure I kind of get these how I want them. Just to hang it on there for just a little bit. Then I'm going to get dimensionals. And I'm going to attach this to the front of my card with my dimensionals. And I'm going to put this little piece right there. You know me, if you've watched my videos before, I use every piece of my dimensionals. Yeah, I use them all. Some people were like, I didn't know I could use those side pieces. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Okay, there's that. All right. There we go. I like that there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these sequins. Did I lose one on there? No. Yep, I did. There it goes. It goes rolling around. All right. I am going to, I want one there inside of my lemon. I think I'm going to put one here. One here. And then one over here. And don't be afraid to say like, oh, you're leaving that there. Sometimes it's a good idea to let your glue dot sort of set up for a little bit. I want this little one. So I'm just using, this is a wax end. So I'm just using that to pick these up. I want a small one. Let's see if I can get another small one. There we go. Now I want a smaller one. This one. So that's the wrong way. So we're going to turn it around. And we're going to put it there. Oops. Oops. I touched that before it had a chance to set up. There we go. I'm going to get these off of here before I end up wearing them for the rest of the day. All right, there we go. Yeah, fun, cute shaker card using flip-flaps. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. You know, leave me a comment. Let me know which one you like best. Just the one with the single glass or the one with the double. I kind of like the one with the double. So anyway, that's my take on an easy shaker card. And again, thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help you. Have a great day. Bye.